Hola, me llamo Dora. Tengo una pregunta. ¿Por qué está un perra? Perra. Perra. Is this thing on? Is this thing on? This better be on. Last time I used this camera was to record my flippin' stupid short film. Now I'm doing flippin' CAPTCHA to log into my DistroKid account to see all my lyrics because I'm so organized. But CAPTCHA is literally the FBI government that is hard, like using you as AI, but not artificial, real intelligence, to train their computers, to train their AI into knowing all sorts of things, like what's a traffic light. And to that I say, what are you gonna do with that information? Are you gonna, I need to sneeze. Are you gonna bomb the traffic lights? What's wrong with a traffic light? I've never seen or heard of a traffic light hurting someone. This is me serving. I was 17 in this picture, but now this is so late. Like, I'm making this, but I released something new. So, whatever. I mean, I really don't care. I'm just making this for myself. I'm gonna cut my nails. My hands are like, I feel like I have big man hands. Do you agree? Am I a big man? Am I like, listen, if I was Travis Kelce, I would be large boy. But if I was, and if I was Taylor, I would be small girl. But so where does that leave me? Because I feel like if those are the two polar opposites, then can I be normal sized? Okay, I need to behave. I don't want to even talk about this. Like, what do I care? New blue pants. You know what they need? I'm gonna cut my nails. Is it dirty to just leave my nail clippings, like, on my desk? Okay, I need to be talking about the songs because, like, I'm gonna cut my nails and then I'm gonna paint my nails. So I have my Hema top coat that's almost empty, which kind of sucks major balls, SMBs if you ask me. And then I have the base coat, which is like almost full. But do I even need the top coat? Because like my nail polish never stays on for that long. And Julian gave me this nail hardener thing, which made my nails, God, they're so dirty. Like, ew. I should not have this high camera quality. Am I cunty? I'm kind of cunty. That's why I'm filming. And I'm gonna go in with my Claire's green. But this looks fuggo. But like, do I gaff? Like, Never does my nail polish stay on for that long anyways. What's like a correct way to dispose of your nail clippings? Is it okay if I just leave them on my desk and then put them in the trash? Is that okay with you? It's nice to be doing something while speaking, you know, it keeps me entertained. Okay, new blue pants. I love my new blue pants. A pattern. So pretty. It reminds you of me. Wait, is that the actual song? I'm sorry, the last video cut off, by the way. I'm not sorry. I guess I'll talk about New Blue Pants. So, this song is about my ex-best friend who moved away and then said that there's drama. There's drama. But it's no hard feelings, really. It's no hard feelings, it's there. If Jace watches this video, maybe he'll get freaked out if I do scary faces. But then again, I'm like, Jace, you're controlling me. You're controlling. This song means a lot to me. It's definitely like up there on my ranking of my songs. It's kind of perfect. Uses the same drum kit. Uses Midnight Vanguard. Same drum kit as in Our Last Times Together. I love this drum kit. Same drum kit that I used on Girl the Rails. It's just kind of an amazing drum kit. Put a little distortion on it, up the bass, EQ. It hits. What do I say? What can I say? I wrote this song on guitar, and it was so cute. Let me try and find like the original like guitar thing of it. And I wrote it about my friend before he moved away. And I was like, because I had already written a song about him, which I had shown him already. And then this second one, I was like, oh, I'm writing another song about you. And I pretty much wrote all of it by guitar, but then I was like listening to I'm Not a Robot, by Marina and the Diamonds, and I was like, I need to make a song that's just like this for realsies. So then I made it, and I really wanted, like, what I cared about the most is I wanted there to be something in the second chorus when I go, I'll wear them when I'm 33 and overseas. I wanted to go, I'll wear them when I'm 33 and overseas. Think back to when we... Okay, I need to go with this quicker. So I love my new blue pants. So I'm talking about like a real object. Like basically we were at the thrift store and I found these blue pants and they were €8 and I was like, I'm not gonna spend €8 on these pants, but they're incredible. And he was like, you know, I'll get them for you as a gift. And he was like a figure of male attachment in my life because I like have these like men in my life that I get in limerence with, meaning I like project my abandonment issues on. And then I wrote this like about my abandonment issues about him before he abandoned me, which is like, okay, clock that T, like how perceptive of me. But a pattern so pretty it reminds you of me. That's the kind of like saddest lyric. I think I said this, I think I was starting to say this in the last video, but it's the saddest part because he never said that the pattern was pretty and he never said that it reminded him of me. I just wanted it to, I give a lot of meanings to things that, like, it's kind of like a one-sided obsession. It's like, to me it was like, oh my gosh, and he bought that for me and I was like, I immediately was like, you know, I'm gonna write a song about this, right? And he was like, okay, like, just didn't care. And I was like, you know, I gave it so much meaning, like those blue pants, to me that was like symbolic, but to him it was just like a way to kind of be nice to me. Like I probably gave him more in return than he ever gave me. I mean, I don't know. A pattern so pretty it reminds you of me, which is crazy for me to be talking like that because like, why would, first of all, I'm imagining that he's remembering me and I'm imagining that he's thinking of me when he lives overseas. When you live by the city, live by the sea, live by anybody other than me. He was gonna, at the start, he was gonna move to like another city in France, so it wasn't gonna be that far, and that's the city that I was talking about. Like, when you live there, it'll make you think of me. But really, I would just like for him to have thought of me, but I'm sure he wouldn't. And I'll cry inside the agony, which is very dramatic, and it didn't really hit me how dramatic that was when I wrote that, but really quite dramatic, huh? So yeah, I love these new blue pants, but I find them beautiful and I give them meaning and he doesn't. And in the chorus I invent that they do. I want them to have meaning for him too, even though they don't really. I'm sure he's forgotten. And then I sent him the song, like, maybe, you know what, maybe that was the breaking point in our relationship because we were texting and then the last thing I ever sent him was like, well, no, that's not true. I texted him a lot after he stopped talking to me, but, which I don't really regret. It may be crazy, but I don't really regret. Was, I sent him a Google Drive link to, like, the song, like, a demo of it at the time, like, where it was, going with the clear screen, hope you appreciate. And maybe he heard that and was like, not this tweaker bitch. But, like, it's also a beautiful song, and if you thought that, like, F off, because it's beautiful. And it's just, like, raw, like, that's just emotions, and if you're scared of my emotions like that, then I deserve better, I don't know. Then I love this chorus. They turn and scribbled on. They turn, do I have a lisp? And scribbled on, fabric takes the shape of my face. So I'm kind of imagining them as like a spinning, like moving live object. They kind of have like an interesting pattern of like being scribbled on. Like it looks, they're kind of like 70s decathlon. Let me just pull them out. Like 70s decathlon type, where are they? New blue pants. Okay, I don't know where they are. Please. Oh, here they are. Okay. These are them. Like, very interesting shape, very iconic, and see how it's kind of like there's little like scribble. It's very like, yeah, it's an interesting pattern, interesting fabric. And I wore them quite a lot, and I still do. I love them so much. But it's sad. Like, I have a lot of things. I have like an old t-shirt of his that I wore today too, and I was like, well, that's sad, I guess. But they have a very interesting pattern, and I was kind of thinking of like, it is a living object. Fabric takes the shape of my face. I was thinking of like my face like submerged in it, like almost like it took the shape of my face, like I was drowning and there was like no water. It was just like fabric covering me. And I just look upon. I'm a pretty lucky disgrace. I remember writing this and then telling my therapist at the time. I used to go to therapy. Being like, a lot of like self-esteem issues show in this song, which is interesting because I used to think that I had good self-esteem, and then it was like, oh, interesting that like my poor self-esteem shows up in poor relationships of mine, where like I feel like there's an imbalance. So I just look on. I'm a pretty lucky disgrace to just have met you in the first place. So like I'm a disgrace. Like I'm basically saying like I'm basically feeling like, oh, you're gonna love me, you're gonna leave me, and I'm a disgrace. Like there's a reason why everybody leaves. That's just my like attachment issues speaking. But I'm a pretty lucky disgrace to have met you in the first place. Met you in a nice place, a ghost town you hose down, the wall on which I rose out. Not the motorcycle. So he's like giving a fresh coat of paint. Like I feel like the place in which I grew up, like Paris, there's so many places where it felt like so many moments where it felt like everything was gonna end and everything was so like final and like dramatic, and then like my teenage years just kept going on, and I was like, he gave a fresh coat of paint to like a lot of areas that I had already visited and already had a lot of memories in, and he kind of just like, he was a key point to my teenagehood at that time. He was very important to me, and the ghost town, he hosed it down. The fabric on which I rose out, I rose up like a rose bush. The wall on which I rose out, the fabric is a low ground. I don't know what that means. That's kind of just like, there's the wall of the city on which we grew up together, and then the fabric lays on the floor. I'm useless, I don't know how. And I won't talk to you 3 years from now. That's just me like thinking to myself, I probably won't talk to him in 3 years, and I did not have to wait that long. I didn't speak to him like, I sent him the song and I never spoke to him again, so maybe I spoke it into existence, come to think. But, because I'm dying, but you carry on. Like, I won't talk to you in 3 years from now because our relationship is imbalanced, and although I'm literally like not okay and very fucked up about our relationship and where it stands, the fact that you move on so easily makes it not last. Like that's what is the breaking straw of our relationship. I won't talk to you 4 years from now because I'm dying, but you carry on. Being gone, as in like you're gone now in essence. Like I'm scared of you leaving, therefore part of you has already left for me because I'm not secure in the fact that you're staying. But so I'm not focused enough. But yeah, you keep being gone, like you will stay gone. As usual, stuck in songs. All these figures of attachment of mine are always stuck in music. They just become figments of my imagination. It doesn't become about him anymore. Very quickly with these people, it's like no longer about their behavior. It's just about me, and I understand that. Songs about you where my head hurts, your window where the rain hurts. That's like. I'm kind of like reading him here. I'm kind of being like, well, you never had issues as big as mine or other friends of ours that we had, and like I never really understood why you couldn't, why you felt like you were struggling when you had it easy in a way. You know what I mean? Like your window that's meant to protect you where the rain still hurts. Like there's a sensitivity there. There's a vulnerability. There's a hurt when there's a window there, but the rain still hurts. And you're hurting just like me. I think maybe I projected that. I'm not sure. And then again, I love my new blue pants. A pattern so pretty it reminds you of me. When you live by the city, live by the sea, live by anybody other than me. I'll cry inside the agony. I like it when in songs like you repeat the same thing, but like it builds up to like have more meaning each time. And in the second chorus is where it takes its meaning. Like actually you get what I mean by that. I'll wear them when I'm 33 and overseas. Meaning, like, this is an object, and I'll wear it, like, I'll embody it, like, I'll have it and I'll own it and I'll appear in the blue pants, and I'll wear them when I'm 33 and overseas. We like both knew that we were going to study abroad and build ourselves up like away from the cities that we grew up in. Even though we didn't need to, just kind of like a privileged place to be, but that's where we were. And think back to when we broke the law and fell asleep. I love that line. Think back to when we broke the law and fell asleep. We were so reckless, we were so playful and so energetic and just almost careless. Just we broke the law and fell asleep. Like, we didn't care, but we were also comfortable, and it was also sweet. And the liquors and the drugs that you love all owe me an apology. There was a lot of that. There was a lot of like being sober and being friends with like people that aren't, like, very much aren't. There's a complicated nuance, and it's like and the full line is all the liquor and the liquors and the drugs that you love all owe me an apology, because now I love you more than you love me. Fucking hell, it's a hyperbole. But fucking hell, it's a hyperbole is almost cringe. Jace doesn't like that line, which I understand why, but it's like I always feel that when I'm with people that aren't sober. It's like interesting. Oh, I was just with a friend tonight and they weren't sober. Interesting. This is a lot, but it's like I'm sober and I'm hanging out with you, and this is the peak of my day, this is the peak of my week, whatever, I'm having a great time, but this isn't enough for you. Like, you need a substance of some kind. Like, you need that to feel okay or to feel good enough for this to be enjoyable. Like, then there's kind of like a level where it's like, well, were we having a great time together, or were you like partying, like fucked up, whatever, and I was just there, and like, was it all a lie? Like, how much you were enjoying yourself and how much you cared? Like, was it also just about the liquors and the drugs that you love? And maybe that caused you to be more friendly and loving than you really were, and maybe I shouldn't have taken it for face value because I was naive, but it's a hyperbole. That's not really the case, it's just an idea. My new blue pants, this is where it gets real. My new blue pants, I want to weep, but I just can't. So I will wear my new blue pants. I love my new blue pants. A pattern so pretty, it reminds you of me. First coat done, by the way. This is like such a weird, like, glitter green, like, what am I doing? I don't know. A pattern so pretty, it reminds you of me. When you live by the city, live by the sea, live by anybody other than me. I'll quench out the agony. Yeah. Next fucking song. God, that took forever. This is like 20 minutes long now. So, I Miss You. This is like the shittiest song on this album. Like, fuck. The production is ass. Like, I don't know what the fuck I was doing. The intro sounds cool, and then the beat drops of the chorus, and it's like, wait, this is ass. Like, what's going on? Like, that just sounds wrong. Like, I don't know how to produce with electric guitar. Like, I just don't. Like, I didn't at the time, and I still don't. Yeah. I like this song, though. I think I used to always sing it on my acoustic guitar, which is where I composed it, and I'm gonna re-release it, like, acoustic version, for sure, because the lyrics are great. It's like, just sums up my abandonment issues. I miss you. Sums up my abandonment issues. It's well written, it feels like a text, it feels like it's complete. I miss you, but it's too late now. It's actually funny. You're in staircases, your face pointing down, and I never knew I could lose my mouth. I guess the road work isn't worth the sound. It's funny because I wrote this about a friend who I was just going through like a bit of a dry patch in my friendship with him where we weren't really talking, and then like literally like not long after that we just restarted like talking, and I've hung out with him since then. It's not like it was never final. Like, it was never that final. I was just completely tweaking. And in his apartment complex, there's like a big staircase that goes up to like the elevator, and so I was picturing him in staircases, your face pointing down. I never knew I could lose my mouth. I guess the road work isn't worth the sound. I guess I guess the I guess the work I do on myself isn't worth the the pain that it brings up, because here I am constantly stifled in all of these relationships about with all these figures of attachment. I always wish that I spoke up more, and I never do, because I feel like I'm risking the relationship by speaking up. So I guess it's not really worth the sound to be working on myself like this. I don't know. I miss you, but it's too late now. You're in staircases, your face pointing down. I'm leaving and I'm left behind. I guess the bullet isn't worth the sound. I'm leaving and I'm left behind. I want to leave. I want to leave people like they leave me, you know what I mean? And I guess the finality of it isn't worth it because I don't feel good once things are gone. Was I deluded, or are you partly gold? Countryside Cupid. This is about someone else. Countryside Cupid quickly getting gold. That's just really clear. Oh my gosh, it's June 1st. Happy June. Was I deluded, or are you partly gold? That's very straightforward. And yeah, he was my Cupid, and here we were, getting old. You were my bed frame. I love this part. You were my bed frame, windowsill and surname, medicine and smash game. These are like things that are essential to me, like my bed frame. You were my bed frame. Like structure, stability, strength, comfort, sleep. My bed frame, windowsill and surname. I just picture myself like sitting in my windowsill, you know, just looking out. Like that was you. You allowed me to see past the room, see past where I was. And surname, like you defined me. I wanted to be defined by you. Like you were everything to me. And smash game, that's just a very personal detail. Like in my friendships, like in just with my friend group with a bunch of straight guys, like when we were young, we used to play Smash Bros all the time, and Super Smash Bros, it was tons of fun, and that's just a little detail about that reminds me of these people. And then so that's establishing how much the figure of attachment meant to me, and then how much I meant to them. I was your young fun, crazy for a few months, then it all came undone. Like it all came undone. Like our relationship was just a little knot that all it needed was just to be undone, and it just falls so delicately. I was your young fun, crazy for a few months. Like sometimes I feel like that with my relationships with like straight people and men, where it's like I'm a wild card. Like I'm kind of like the diversity hire of your social life. Like I was your young fun. Like you were a kid back then, so it was okay if you were friends with someone weird, and you still acknowledge that I'm different from you whenever we hang out. And it was just for a few months, and then it all came undone, which is stupid because like we're friends now. It's just, what was I talking about here? I miss you, but it's too late now. You're in staircases, your face pointing down, and I never knew I could lose my mouth. I guess the road work isn't worth the sound. I'm leaving and I'm left behind. I guess the bullet isn't worth the sound. And then this is super emo. The pain isn't gone. I'm just used to it. And I need you to stay strong, but I won't be there to see it. I don't know who the hell I'm talking to there. But I guess I need someone to stay strong. And I'm gonna die. I'm gonna KMS. That's why I won't be there to see it. Gas leaking from the windows to the courtyard. I thought that was a beautiful image. Like gas leaking from the windows to the courtyard. Kind of like, you know, abandonment, like a chemical, distasteful, like bitter, like abandonment, like it's empty, and it's like an environment that's not prone to human life, like somewhere where you shouldn't be, somewhere where you can't stay. Gas leaking from the windows to the courtyard of like a school. Like things are just changing, things are like twisted, things are wrong. My fingers folded 12 times over. You come from a few towns over. I don't know what my name says about me. My fingers folded 12 times over is just like, I bent myself over backwards for you. I did something impossible. It's beyond discomfort. It's impossible. You come from a few towns over. By default, by nature, we're different. You know what I mean? It's like, we don't come from the same town. I don't know what my name says about me. My sense of identity through my attachment is lost because I feel like I use people to define myself. Like I'm defined by, like my worth is given by my friendship with people, and that's why it's not stable, or it's not viable, because I'm putting too much weight on it. And I don't know what my name says about me anymore. I don't know what my name is. I don't know something important about myself, something visible about myself, because our attachment is lost. You know what I mean? It's not enough for it to be over. Overgrown a pretty Range Rover, I will love you until I'm older. You forget my four-leaf clover. It's not enough for it to be over. I should put like another coat. This green is like Fuggo. Like, I'm gonna go in with like my iridescent gray. Or should I go in with this like glitter Claire's black? I'm gonna do that. It's kind of Fuggo, but like, whatever. A relationship ending does not mark the end of how greatly it impacts me. If anything, like, moments where relationships begin or end affect me far greater, and it's far more important to me than the times we actually spend together, because the attachment is just what I'm obsessed with, and it ending or beginning is just like way more important than the relationship itself. Overgrown a pretty Range Rover. A Range Rover is like an important like visual detail to my life. This is like good. This is a cool color. You can't even see shit. That's like fine. That's like darker. That's cool. Yeah, that's like a car that I was in growing up. Just like a model, like a kind of truck car. That sounds really bougie, but it wasn't. And that refers to my childhood. I will love you until I'm older. You forget my four-leaf clover. You forget the worth I had. I don't know. And then Julian told me about how he liked this lyric, and I was like, why? And then I was like, wait, it is smart. Watching the dust float around with the lamp. Watching my lust quickly become damp. Dust, lamp, lust, damp. Isn't that interesting? Like with the L and the D. So I'm like, here I'm just describing, and it's kind of like, it's a moment where the song kind of breaks a little, and it's like, watching the dust float around the lamp. It's kind of like, there's a bit of a break in rhythm, and I'm just describing going through a depressive episode here, because, you know, just watching life go on around me, watching something slowly unfurl, just kind of like zoned out. But watching my lust quickly become damp just talks about how in a depressive episode libido just goes down. That's just a thing I've experienced. But it seems your bullet isn't worth the sound. It seems that the bang of love that you gave me wasn't worth it, because look at where you've left me now. I tell you, look at where you've left me now. I find that so impactful. I'm like really trying to, I mean, I would never send this song to like the people who it's about or the person who it's about, but you know, I feel just dejected. I just feel abandoned. And obviously this is not about like the friends, this is about like the deeper childhood like experience that I'm projecting onto them. But look at where you left me now. Like, the bang of the end wasn't worth the sound. Like, I'm just here now. I'm just somewhere devoid of space and of love. And yeah, that's it. I miss you, but it's too late now. You're in staircases, your face pointing down. And I never knew I could lose my mouth. But I guess the road work isn't worth the sound. Sometimes I feel like I'm working on myself, but it doesn't make me happier. It kind of almost makes me sadder. Like, people live in denial and they're kind of fine, so I miss you, but it's too late now. You're in staircases, your face pointing down. I'm leaving and I'm left behind. I guess the bullet isn't worth the sound. Did I even ever leave someone behind? I don't really do all that. Okay, now we're getting back into good songs. Sleep to Metal. Wrote this about the homegirl, and I told them severely, but it's not really a compliment, which sucks. Cause I'm like, you know, you'd want a song written about you to be a compliment, but whatever. You sleep to metal. Oh, and, well, Okay, I'll just say it. It's called Sleep to Metal. You sleep to metal, death metal, again, again. You sleep to metal, death metal, again, again. This is like a different friend that told me about how he would fall asleep to listening to like hard metal, like as like a quirky, like, you know, story, and I was like, oh, cute, whatever. But I just thought that was beautiful, and also that there's kind of a motif of metal in the album, like boiling metal, and you sleep to metal, you know, like the material also, not just like the music, and I found that beautiful. Like you find comfort and you are used to something so harsh. And then here I'm describing like being at a party and like being high and like, oh, also the song is fully inspired by Weird Fishes / Art Peggy by Radiohead. I was trying to like sound as similar to it as possible. I went through a lot of like variations of this song before I landed on like this, and it's quite simple but nice. Laying in my bedroom, mind is anywhere, looking at the ceiling and looking at the stairs, sleeping in the car, no noises from afar, the metal in your ears making ugly disappear. Yeah, just like laying in my room high, letting your mind wander. I don't have stairs. I just thought that would sound nice. Sleeping in the car, no noises from afar. That's really like straightforward. But what is grief if not love persevering? Now I heard somewhere that this was a fucking Marvel quote, and I'm like, I'm actually gonna call myself if that's a real Marvel quote. Like, you can't be serious me quoting Marvel, but I saw that somewhere else. I don't know. What is grief if not love persevering? And the way I'm linking that, like, no noises from far, the metal in your ears making ugly disappear. But what is grief if not love persevering? Like, the ugly is the grief. The metal in your ears is making the ugly disappear. The metal can be an allegory for so many things here, like drugs, or like partying, or just a lot of things, or like anything that's made up, anything that's artificial, anything that's like wrong or distasteful, anything that's, yeah, like that. And the metal in your ears is making the grief disappear, but the grief needs to hold its place because it's also love, and it's love persevering, and it's old love that you're not okay with anymore, but I think you should be. And neither of us like the evenings. You know, we've hung out quite a lot in the evening, this friend and I, and I think that we both have issues that we have faced, more or less, and both of us, you know, like, I don't know, like, the evening for me is a difficult time. I can easily feel alone, and for this person, perhaps they can also feel alone, but they resort to other methods of feeling less alone, more than just hanging out with friends. And the blossom, the backseat, the laughter, the thrill, and the type shit you're after. I'm scared of it eating you, scared of it eating you, scared of it eating you faster. There's quite a naive, innocent, and radiant beauty in my friendship with this person. I really love their way of seeing the world and their way of thinking, and they can be so intellectual and so emotionally there, but also quite carefree and just fun loving. And the blossom, the backseat, the laughter, we're just in the backseat cruising, and there's a kind of like a carefree energy to that. But there's also a thrill and the type shit you're after. Type shit is kind of like a AAVE, isn't it? I don't love that I said that, but it sounded good. Yeah, I'm scared of the thrill that they're after, eating them alive. You can't comfort me this time, 'cause when you speak there's a strange rhyme. Metal echoing, it's fine. On your roof, on your skyline. It's like, I might have spoken to them about it before, like their sort of like self-destructive tendencies, like, and how I'd be afraid of them like catching up with them, and they can't comfort me because they're like, there's a strange rhyme in their voice, and there's a strange, they can sound a little disconnected. Metal echoing, it's fine. That's that thing that's keeping the grief from really gripping them. Metal echoing, it's fine. On your roof, on your skyline, because they have a roof and we've been on it. In our future mega mansion, we'll have no pain to mention, no pills and no prescription. We'll just sleep to metal. Death metal. Again, again. That's just kind of like referring to like a childish dream of like, when we get older, guys, we can all have a huge mansion together. And I'm kind of like referencing that, like, in our future mega mansion, we'll have no pain to mention. None of this grief that needs to be like grayed out or blacked out by the metal. We'll just sleep to metal, death metal, again. That's kind of like, well, no pills, no prescription, but we'll just sleep to the metal, the death metal, again and again. And then the outro. I like this outro. In a factory in Brighton, in March, in need of guidance. You went there with no goal in mind. You found the thing, though unrefined. Unrefined would be like a metal. You're living like a passerby. This is low-key a read, but I don't mean it like that. I just mean the way in which they explore and they adventure and they, they pass by, they experience things and take what they can get, but don't really linger. You and I sleep to all the iron in the narrowing, enlighten. In the asphalt tank you dive in with the liquids you're uniting. So I'm picturing this person diving in a tank of melting iron and the asphalt tank. I think I looked that up, like in a machine, how they like made metal or something for this song. With the liquids you're uniting, like just kind of like, well, I'm not really referencing suicide. I'm just kind of a metaphorical, like you'll become united with the metal. Like I just picture them like going to a random factory in Brighton in March, marching in need of guidance, went there with no goal in mind, found the machine, the unrefined material, living like a passerby, just sort of like not knowing anyone, not wanting to be known, passing by. And you and I sleep to all the iron. Like you and I have this in common in a deep metaphorical state. Like I feel connected to this person and the hardships that they've gone through, although we might not have spoken about it together. Just a strange metaphorical thing of like, you would jump in the asphalt tank, you would dive in and unite with the liquids. Next song. Our last times together, I explained that one already for 30 damn minutes. Check an earlier video. Falling asleep in my lover's arms. For this song, I don't really know who musically I was inspired by, but I just wanted to really describe. Also, I feel like the guitar and the singing are kind of off tune in here, but it's just kind of like that's what acoustic music sounds like sometimes. Not perfectly on tune, but whatever. I just wanted to fully describe what it feels like to fall asleep in my lover's arms, because it's kind of like the singular state of peace that I've ever achieved, and it's kind of like the only really happy song on the album, but it's just like, it just hits different. It's like nothing feels as peaceful or good as falling asleep in my lover's arms. It's like a feeling beyond anything else I've ever experienced. Falling asleep in my lover's arms. I never thought I'd find a safety intertwined and leave this frame of mind. That's pretty self-explanatory. Leave this frame of mind, the frame, the art, the picture. I never thought I'd find it, a safety intertwined. The falling asleep, like letting go, trusting in my lover's arms, capable, protecting, intertwined. I hold him, he holds me. Gay love, being gay boys kissing. A shining 4-line star, lose track of where we are, and may we never be apart. This was kind of like the start of like the 4-line star symbol. Should I show my tattoo? The shining 4-line star, lose track of where we are. Beauty, just the closest thing you can get to perfection. That's what it means. The tattoo's not perfect, but it's the closest thing you can get. Just kind of phase out. I mean, the production also speaks for the meaning. May we never be apart. Just a simple, it's meant to be simple. It feels simple. It does. But also so profoundly beautiful. And then the chorus, and then he takes me and then he takes me, and then he takes me, and then he does. Then he takes me, then he takes me, and then he takes me, and then he does. I told Julian at one point that maybe there was like a double meaning of this where it's like the figure of attachment, the lover, the abusive parent is like, who takes me? Because is it a nightmare coming to take me? You know, is there some of that? But he was like, I don't want that to be true because I need this to be the one happy song on the album. And I'm like, sure. A part of something large. Oh, this is where it gets interesting. This is where I add nuance. A part of something large. I love my lover's arms, though he destroys and disregards. I rarely reach the hands, for he is but a man, and that I understand. So, a part of something large, it feels like belonging. It feels like trusting, and it feels like vulnerable, and it feels like I'm part of something greater than I'm part of like, it really is like my other half, and it really is like a sweetness beyond anything. I love my lover's arms, though he destroys and disregards. Like, though these arms may mean harm to some, I do love them, and I rarely reach the hands, for he is but a man, and I understand. That's just like, there's only so much extent. Like, relationships aren't perfect, especially mine, as I've avidly described. Although, you know, that's kind of like young love. And I like that because it's all about the arms. I'm talking about like there was a term that Baudelaire did about like when you do like a éloge of like one part of the body, where he like talked about his lover's like red hair or something. I'm kind of like doing that, like doing a whole speech about one person's body part, like the arms, but then I talk about the hands. You know, it's all about the arms because I rarely reach the hands. Because he's just a man, and that I understand. There's a sort of like admitting defeat in that, like, falling asleep in my lover's arms, it'll always be restricted. It'll never be, like, it feels like fully trusting, but there's a limit. There's a physical limit to the trust and the vulnerability that can, I don't think there's a limit to the vulnerability that I can give, but there's a vulnerability in the protection and the strength that I can be allocated. That sounds so unemotional. And then I love this. Time is to space what he is to me. Give your embrace, and then he takes me, then he takes me, and then he does. I rarely reach, time is to space, like time and space complete each other. Just one doesn't go without the other. That's what he is to me. I thought that was beautiful, just kind of like zooming out beyond space and time, like just zooming out beyond like outer space. And, you know, like Dialga and Palkia, like the Pokemon deities of time and space, that's who we are. And then, just the chorus, and then he takes me, then he takes me, then he does. I interject this with like a sound, like an audio of Ian and Mickey from Shameless, and it's like an early season where Ian is discussing with Mickey like his plans to go to the army, and Mickey's like, well, if you want to get shot, you can just go down the street or something, and they're like talking about doing math and chemistry and something like that, and it's like they're just smoking a beer like behind the bleachers, like it's a very innocent moment, and it's a very sweet and caring moment. I think they like fuck right after or something, because of course Shameless, but the Shameless show means a lot to me. I spoke about it in 10 Years Old, but I like that moment because they're talking about their futures together, and it's on the cusp of something great, you know. It's like they're talking about how it's gonna go, they're preparing, but it's just them. It's so vulnerable, so close, although you hear the sirens from afar. It's just so intimate like that, and it's so trusting of Mickey to admit that he would be scared for Ian if Ian went to the army, although he admits it in a strange way of saying, if you want to get shot, just go on the street. The next song is Fault. This song ain't bad. I still think of this song every once in a while. I'll just get into it. My wordy sadness is overexplained. I love that line. I thought about giving it more importance somehow because I feel like that's the whole album. The whole album is like my wordy sadness is overexplained. Like all of these sad sob stories, it's like, God, my sadness, like I intellectualize my emotions so much, although like not as much as some people. Um, it's overexplained. Like, why am I going into such detail? My wordy sadness is overexplained, but you're not the court, and I'm not insane. Like, who am I trying to defend? Like, why do I feel like the need to defend myself? Like, who am I explaining myself to? You're not the court. Like, I don't need to like emancipate myself of my guilt or whatever. Like, what is this? Like, I'm not in court. Like, it's also because I've been in court and I've had to like defend myself, and I'm not insane. So why is my wordy sadness so overexplained? My wordy sadness, but you need me close. I'm somewhere else. I'm in the oak. I'm gonna eat this apple if you don't mind. Manzana, manzana. It's not all that. I should have kept it for tomorrow, shouldn't I? You need me close. Oh God, this song is so beautiful. My wordy sadness, but you need me close. Like, here I am, like, just getting so caught up, like, overthinking, just completely over-analyzing, like, my wordy sadness. But you need me close. But I'm not here. I'm somewhere else. I'm in the oak. I'm picturing myself, like, staring at a drawer made of oak and just staring at the wood, staring at, like, the shapes in the wood, just, like, completely dissociating in my wordy sadness. Television tells me to die. Digging through the cupboards looking for your third eye. That's just like an image. That's just like my sadness is there, my whatever it is, my suicidality, my pain, my trauma is there. It tells me to die, and I just have to kind of like face it. It's just kind of like in a television. It's just kind of like, I'm not trying to pull some like the media, whatever. Like, no, this is about me. Digging through the cupboards looking for your third eye. I think of this. Also, I don't know who my reference for this song is, but it's folk. I love it. I'm thinking of the Zella Day song, where it's not Sweet Ophelia. She goes, "You got those scissors from the drawer. You never dug so deep before. If I keep lying, will you keep saying, if you're cutting me out, baby, who you lying? You make me wanna love, hate, cry, take every part of you." What is Shadow Preachers? I don't know. But you got those scissors from the drawer you never dug so deep before. I'm digging, I'm avid. It's like there's an emergency. It's trouble's here. And I'm looking for a third eye. I want you to see. I want you to be grounded with what's going on. I want you to finally understand me. Tell me visions and tell me reply. You know that I'm here, that I love you, right? This is like me being a carer. I'm looking for a way to make you understand, make you see, but the only way you could see is a third eye because you're so not understanding. This song is right here. This is about being understood. And then you tell me visions. You're tweaking out, and I want your third eye because I want those visions to become something concrete, a reality. And I reply, you know that I'm here, that I love you, right? Like I'm being comforting. And now the chorus. Now you're just like your old dead dog. Never gave yourself the life you knew you deserved. This is about a lot of things. My old dead dog is really my cat who's alive, called David. I love David. But my mom's flat is like 80 meters square or something, and it's not big enough for him. And he's been depressed before. He's just not. I don't know. I can't give him the life I know he deserves. Like, I feel such inherent guilt having a pet because it's like I'll never be able to give him what he deserves. And an important parental figure in my life had an old dead dog, but that's neither here nor there. You never gave yourself the life you knew you deserved. That's kind of like you always knew you when you suffer from something, when you live through something difficult, you might know it's wrong, but you might not make it better for yourself, and you might regret that eventually, but it's not that easy, and that's a regret that you might hold as a victim. But it's not your fault. It's never been your fault. No, it's not your fault. You've never been your fault. Sometimes I think that my biggest secret is that it's all my fault. Like, what happened to me is my fault. But there's two ways in which this song can be interpreted. It's like, am I speaking to an abuser? I am. Am I speaking to myself? I am. The abuser, it's like, you had deep mental illness, and you were unhappy, and I want to be forgiving, but I'm not. But you never gave yourself the life you knew you deserved. You're just like your old dead dog. But it's not your fault. It's never been your fault. No, it's not your fault. It's never been your fault. And by that, I'm like, oh, because, as a narcissistic abuser, no matter what you do, it isn't your fault. So, like, you never gave yourself the life you knew you deserved. Like, you knew you deserved so much, and you knew you were so great, but, you never gave yourself that, and it's not your fault, because it can never be your fault. But also, speaking to myself, it's like, I'll always hold on to, like, a soft, slow regret of, like, I could have fought more, I could have done more. It's like, the life I knew I deserved, I don't think that you start off with bad self-esteem. I think the bad self-esteem I have is quite nuanced and, like, subtle and, like, hard to get to the bottom of, but here I'm telling myself, it's not my fault. It's not my fault that I went through what I went through, and I don't know, I wish I felt more like this, but it's kind of just an idea here in this song. Kind of wish I actually believed it more. No, it's not. And then here I talk about queerness, which is kind of random. Mukbang. I take such big bites, I don't know why. Yum, yum, yum. Trans technicians in submarines, saving the world in dungarees. I don't fucking know what I'm saying here. Like I'm picturing like trans people, like the non-binaries, trans masculine, trans femmes, like just like saving the world, like in a dungaree, like fixing some shit, like doing some FBI war, like driving the submarine to China. I don't fucking know. Like just modernity, just my new life. I go from it's not my fault to this, which I know is quite a sharp transition, but I'm thinking of, my life. So this queerness is something that's very personal to me and that I'm in control of. So, can traditions give us the means, like shaving our heads and mending our heels? Shaving our heads, trans masks, mending our heels, trans femmes. Can we find a way to heal? Can we find a way to stop intergenerational trauma? And can we find a way to heal as a community and to make ourselves better and to stop all the infighting? By being closer as a community with tradition, for example. Can it give us the means to save the world? Can it give us the means to save ourselves as a people? All of my people who are traumatized, all of us who have been through difficult things, who try and heal, who try to mend ourselves. Can this closeness, can cultural closeness, beyond just like talking and speaking and therapy and like even small nuanced ways of community, like shaving your head and mending your heels, will that help? Painted face at the hospital doors. The hospital is like, trans people in my life and me going to the hospital to visit them with a lot of makeup on my face. Personal experience. Hospital for like surgery. I love this line. Painted face at the hospital doors. My color is a vector and my tragedy the form. How interesting is that? The hospital is also like a tragedy in and of itself, and My color is a vector. My color is what you see me as, and it's what propels me forward. It's what makes me stronger. It's what pushes me to the edge of things. My tragedy is the form. My tragedy is my silhouette. My tragedy is the form that my color takes. The tragedy is the form that I take. The color is the person that I am deep down, the child in me that drives me forward, the child in me that leads what I do. The unsafe world and the danger adored. The day that I choose peace is the day that I can mourn. That you're just like your old dead dog. Never gave yourself the life you deserved. The unsafe world and the danger adored. There's this like notion in CPTSD of like, do you have a perception of the unsafe world? But it's muddled when like the world is actually unsafe. But it's like, you know, the unsafe world and the danger are adored because you just get so used to it growing up in a difficult environment where you feel unsafe. It becomes so familiar that then I find myself craving the chaos. Okay, let me finish this quickly. The card got full and I had to do stuff. Anyways, it's also like 2:28. I'm kind of tired. I was writing poetry. Okay, I have to get back to fault. That song is bomb. But it's all your fault. It's low-key my fault. Like, I can't admit it, but I do still feel like it's my fault. I wish I still felt like I did in the song. Rich tea, the classic one. I'm rich, like the classic kind. So the unsafe world and the danger adored. I do find myself craving the chaos, and the day that I choose peace is the day that I can mourn. You know what I mean? Like, I still have to choose peace. Oh, this is something else, by the way. I really love how it came out. Like, you can see how it's green, but it also looks kind of like just gray and like, you know, it doesn't look too saturated. Like, the brightness isn't too high. It's cool, it's cool. Part of me feels like it's my fault. Well, most of me does. And that's where the choice thing comes in. And I feel like I have to choose peace. But, because I crave the chaos and I look for it everywhere. But at the end of the day, my healing is my responsibility and my mental health is my responsibility. I have to choose that peace. And the day that I do is the day that I'm able to mourn the fact that the abuser is just like the old dead dog. I have to grieve the abuser's failure, and I have to grieve the abuser's sadness. I have to feel it, and I have to understand it and let it pass through me, because I think a lot of my life I think for as long as I can remember, my well-being has been dictated by the emotions of other people. I think that's just been how I've functioned my whole life. Like, I always find other people to base myself around and to, like, you know, just think about all the time. And the day that I can let the sadness of the abuser pass through me is the day that I can choose peace. You're just like your old dead dog. Never gave yourself the life you knew you deserved. But it's not your fault. It's never been your fault. No, it's not your fault. It's never been your fault. No, it's not. So yeah, once again, kind of like victimizing the abuser, but also reminding myself that it's not my fault, but also it's kind of my fault. It's kind of the abuser's fault. A lot of layers. But let's go on to 17. 1 and 7. Do you know what those numbers make together? 17. Let me start editing. I hate editing. I don't want to edit anything together. But this bum camera put all the videos together. So I have like segmented, like it like I was filming and then it like took them in like 10-minute like segments. So I have to edit those together, which is so annoying and lame. But whatever. Let me just put them together in the editing software and start putting them together. 17 is a song that I wrote when I was 17, and it's about the vibe, like, it was about the vibe, like, you know, and I think it's deeply beautiful. I really love the song. I wanted, like, I wanted there to be no percussion in Falling Asleep in My Lover's Arms and Fault. That way it's kind of like, and then there's no percussion here, and then for the final chorus, where I, like, end the album, it's like percussion swoops back in, and it's like, whoa. It's like, whoa. This song is huge. I love this song. Wait, why does it go here? You can't. Oh my gosh, this editing software sucks major balls. I'm kidding, I love Shortcut. I just downloaded something random and, like, open source. I think this song works well as a poem. It's kind of like very first world problems. It's like what my vibe was at the time, and I'm like complaining, like, I might not make it into university, but, like, literally who cares? Actually, who cares? Also, I did. I was wrong. But I was at the cusp of something great. And at the core of it, it's my life expectancy rising in my own mind. Because I had always felt like I didn't have to plan for my life after graduation, after graduating from high school, because it wouldn't happen. I just didn't think that I would graduate high school, and I didn't think that I would live past 18. I just couldn't conceive that because of, like, growing up in danger or whatever. These areas are kind of too big. I kind of prefer the smaller hoops. I should switch these out. But then I did. Then I lived past 18. And there's something beautiful there. And there's something there that's very paradoxical and really confusing, and that really, like, hurt my feelings. I just didn't know what to do with myself. And I still don't. It's like, I didn't think that I would live for this long. What do I do now? I mean, I don't know. I guess it's good that I am, but everything now just feels like improvising. Like, it all made more sense before I turned 18. It was just all like, yeah, this is kind of better than how I saw it going, but, like, it's still bad. I mean, I'm complaining. I'm massively privileged. But then just the cusp of something great. Being 17 with all my hopes and dreams is the most painful thing I've ever felt. The bridges and the trees. So the bridge is like the crossing, and the trees is like the beauty that comes with it. I'm completely bullshitting. But this line, it's like, you have to understand that it sounds like very paradoxical, like being 17 with all your hopes and dreams. That's a good thing. But then it's the most painful thing I've ever felt. And it's like, for the first time in my life, I felt hope. And I had a dream. And it may not have been my dream, it may have been my lover's dream, but I had hope and I had a dream. And those are two things I had never had before. And through gentleness, through kindness, through love, through community, through kinship, through speech, I built those up for myself. Hope and dreams. And having those were the scariest thing ever, because I could lose them. And it's so harder when you have something to lose. It just makes everything so much harder. It was the most painful thing I'd ever felt. It was like, it's one thing to, like, suffer or, like, feel pain from something, but it's another to, like, have something you want to hold, have something that's yours, have something that makes you want to keep going. It's strange. Feeling so alive, the park is my demise, the flowering allowance for these thoughts that all revive. Just youth, beauty, teenagehood. I'm feeling so alive, but the park is my demise. The place where I let myself feel these things is my demise. The flowering allowance for these thoughts that all revive. I'm kind of like spiraling in the intro of this song. It's like, I'm feeling so alive, but the nature, the beauty, the place where I meet my friends, the place where I have community, it's like there's an allowance which blooms for all these thoughts that I'll revive. They were dead, like life and death, is a motif here. I'm feeling so ashamed when I'm not really to blame. I want to feel okay again in t-shirts that I've stained. Just shame, huge shame all the time for everything, anything. It's all my fault. When I'm not really to blame. I understand that, but it doesn't make it much easier sometimes. I want to feel okay again in t-shirts that I've stained. Just feeling broken, feeling like you're beyond repair, just feeling like, in t-shirts that I've stained and like nice white pieces of fabric that I've made all dirty. I want to feel okay again in them. And I want that. I want to feel okay again. And I know I'm not really to blame too. There's a hope there. There's a dream. But feeling like a ghost because you just had to go. Nobody will believe me if I don't get diagnosed. Just feeling your absence, feeling the loss. Nobody will believe me if I don't get diagnosed. Just talking about mental health and like the way I feel shame and the way I feel like I'm faking everything all the time and the way I feel like I go back and forth about has anything bad actually really happened to me. Like I get so confused because I forget it and it's just really confusing. Nobody will believe me. I'm feeling like a ghost. Just not doing great. Nobody will believe me if I don't get diagnosed. So everything's okay and everything's okay. I'm better and I know you're here to stay, right? Here's just affirming, not believing a word I'm saying, but I'm better and I'm better, like I'm not, but I have to be because if I'm not, no one's gonna really be there for me to care after me, so I have to be better. My luxury to cry in romantic lullabies. My grievance is a privilege, the apple to the knife. That's just me like reflecting about how this whole album, like a big long complaint that's like me of all people here in of all places, like I'm complaining, okay, like pack it up. But more genuinely, having the ability to express myself through music and through song is such a massively helpful tool that I don't take for granted whatsoever. I think that like being raised in an environment where art and self-expression are important and have like are underlined as like self-improvement tools, it's just such a massive blessing. And the fact that I've been given the tools, I mean, I did teach myself them, but even just like the time and like the mental space, I mean, obviously I had a lot on my mind while making this album. Like I feel accomplished for making this album while I had this much on my mind. That's kind of crazy, but the fact that I can express myself and like it's a luxury to cry. It's a luxury, like especially in older generations, to just people just have to suck it up. And the fact that I don't have to and that I can express myself in this way during this album and in my music generally is huge. My grievances are a privilege. It's a privilege to even see them as that, a grievance. The apple to the knife. My grievances are like the knife is the song, is the music, and the apple is the grievance. It's what I slice into in the music. This summer I'm 18 and my mom no longer likes me. My sister's not that nice and university is unlikely. I was about to turn 18 and had a difficult relationship with my mom. Just the sense of like I feel alone. I feel like not much is like few really have my back in a big way, or definitely emotionally. My lover's by my side. We're a tiny two-piece family. I'm scared. It's like, yeah, my mom no longer likes me. My sister's not that nice. University doesn't like me, and my lover's by my side, and we're a two-piece tiny family. That's kind of all I have, and I'm really scared because it's a relationship and that's not as stable as family, but is family, at least for me, even stable at all? Not really. And then so I'm being just very straightforward and matter of fact, but then and kind of panning out and just looking at like why I'm scared in a more concrete sense, like why I have all of the guilt, all of the shame, why I feel like no one will believe me, why I have the loss. And then I try to focus and I try to ground myself. I love the narrative voice in the song. I say, I know I love the sound of rain, and I am never cold when near you. I love to ride the train, and I am always sitting near you. Just talking about my love for my partner and my friends, but mostly my partner. It's just like this is what I know. I know that I love the sound of rain. I do. And I keep itching my arm. I feel like I have a mosquito bite. This is embarrassing. I'm supposed to be like heartfelt. But I do love to ride the train, just small things, and I'm always sitting near him. Just focusing on the positive, focusing on what's here in front of me. And then I go, but oh, how much I need you, just how much I need you. Because, it's all nice and dandy to focus on the positive, but I'm quick to find the negative in every single situation, and I know these small things that I can focus and that I'm grounded, but then I pan out a little more again, and that relationship's imperfect. There's need there. I have need, because my lover's by my side, and I feel like no one else has got my back. And then second verse. Being 17 with all my hopes and dreams is the most painful thing I've ever felt, to heightening degrees. So it's getting more and more serious. Feeling so alive, but I don't want to die. The fauna and the flora of our city say goodbye. I find that lyric so beautiful. I'm feeling so alive, but the point of the song is the blossom and the beauty and the summer and the, not the joy, but the beauty, definitely, like just an opulence in this cusp, something so beautiful in it, like feeling so alive and being 17 and these experiences that I have and all my shame and all my pain, and I don't want to die, and that's so scary because it's so much easier sometimes to be hopeless and to be consumed by loss, and it's so much more comfortable to be sad sometimes, but it's so scary to feel so alive and to not want to die. The fauna and the flora of our city say goodbye. Things are ending, I moved away, and yeah, I see the death, I see the end, but the life there, the fauna and the flora, those sciencey words, I loved that. Feeling so ashamed when I'm not really to blame. For the citizen, the edifice I never quite became. Edifice, like a big building, like a massive towering like building. I love that. I'm not really to blame for not having become like all that I could have been. Sometimes I think like I had everything. Like I grew up in such a deeply privileged setting, and this is what I amount to. But I mean, I amount to something good. Like it's not like, but especially in this moment, I was really feeling that like this is what I amount to, and I'm not really to blame. Like I had like factors making it more difficult, obviously, and I like the citizen, the edifice, because it's like I'm not to blame for like not being a good citizen. Even like maybe I'm not even a good citizen. And I mean, on a wider scale, if you want to talk about like, well, this sounds like, now I'm going from something personal to something that has nothing to do with me, but like poverty, or like the way in which like having poor mental health in more impoverished areas, it's more like a vicious cycle, because being a good citizen is not a given, and sometimes you're just not to blame, like if you're born into crime or stuff like that. But feeling like a ghost because you just had to go. You're living in your car out in the forest in the snow. I love this song because the images are so pungent and strong, and I can just see it and I can feel it all. The edifice, the building, person, like feeling like a ghost because you just had to go. You're living in your car out in the forest in the snow. Like I'm just picturing someone that left me and that's also struggling. And I love this lyric. So I'll look deep inside, keep digging deep inside, till I've clawed at all that's left of me for something to inspire. Just like feeling so empty, feeling like just so overcome by loss, because, and then I'm thinking of someone specific, someone who's just equal to me and not a greater figure of attachment, but just like someone specific. I wasn't actually thinking about anyone, but just, it's easy, like these people that come in and out of my life that I get attached to and leave me are just fictitious at this point. It's just like anyone will do. I'll get attached and project my abandonment onto anyone. It's easy enough. I'm hiring if you want. So I'll look deep inside and keep digging deep inside for inspiration. It's like I'm so overcome by loss that I'll do anything for something more, anything for something outside of myself. I'll keep looking inside of me till I've clawed all that's left of me for something to inspire. Like until it's painful, until I've scraped all the walls of my innards, until there's nothing left in me. I'm truly empty, and I'll drag the art and the beauty and the opulence out of me. I'll do everything in my power to just drag it out of me until I'm completely empty. You can't find your lighter, and I can't find my lightness, sitting by a broken pool, a reflection of our ripeness. Love that lyric. Just something small. You can't find your lighter, your light. You can't find the small spark that gives you hope, that gives you joy. And I can't find my lightness. I can't find the comedy in it. I'm too heavy. I'm too grim. I'm always bringing it back to such serious stuff. Sitting by a broken pool. An abusive figure of mine had a pool that was broken, and it's very important visually for me. And same person who had the car, the Range Rover, sitting by a broken pool, a reflection of our ripeness. That's what we are. I always feel so disconnected from the experience of teenagehood, and that's something that I wanted to express in this song. I hate age, and I've spoken about that on YouTube before, which is so goofy to say. I have like a YouTube video that I made and I talk about something, whatever, but I've spoken about how any notion of age is inherently hurtful, because to attach that's kind of a bullshit sentence, but a lot of the things that are attached to the age, like your 20s are meant for this, like, you know, the vibes at 17, is like, makes me feel lonelier, because I'm like, what's happened to me has changed me so much that I don't understand, or I don't relate to the nuanced hardships of being 17, because at 17 I'm dealing with what's happened to me. I'm not dealing just with like the average hardship of just being 17. On top of that, I have everything that's happened to me. It makes me feel so lonely, because I'm like, I don't get that classic teenage experience. I don't get that. Just like I didn't get that classic childhood experience. Like, I'm sure as a child, I don't remember it, I'm sure as a child I didn't feel carefree, or as carefree as you should feel. And that's what I wanted to express in this song. I wanted to say my own story, and that's why this song is called an age, but it doesn't hurt me. It's because, and just like 10 years old, it's because this is what being 17 was like for me. And for example, in the song Anthems for a 17-year-old, it's so pretty and it's so fun and it's so messy, but there's good in everything, whereas I was spiraling. 17, I mean, apparently it was hard for me, and I hate that, and I hate that I can't relate to the experience of being 18, to the experience of someone else being 18. That makes me feel lonely. So this is my 17-year-old anthem. This is the anthem for me at 17. I was ashamed. I felt like a ghost. I was looking deep inside, and I couldn't find my lightness. And that's what I mean by this lyric. Sitting by a broken pool, a reflection of our ripeness. My ripeness is broken. It's not blossoming. It's not pretty. It's not good. It's just hurting. I'm like a fruit that's gone old. It's like an image that I use in my film of like moldy strawberries, or like a bunch of fruit that I crush up. They're just made wrong and hurting, and it's no good. But so, yeah. This summer I'm 18 and my mom no longer likes me. My sister's not that nice and university's unlikely. My lover's by my side, we're a tiny two-piece family. I'm scared. And then this is how I chose to end the album. Honestly, I'm speechless. I never thought I'd get here. I've ran out of conclusions and control on my politeness. That's the point. Like, I never thought I'd get here. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to deal with this, and I don't know what to do with myself now, because I've exceeded all expectations I had for myself, and it feels scary. It feels like a whole lot of things, but probably better for me in the end. I mean, I get to experience more, I get to live more, I get to do more stuff, so good for me, I guess. And I've ran out of conclusions and control my politeness. I'm so brainy, I'm so wordy, I'm so intellectual, and at the end of this album, I'm just like, I've ran out of like conclusions to make from different things that have happened. Sometimes it's just that. Sometimes I have to leave it at that, and control my politeness. Just like, just nice way to phrase things, nice ways to phrase things, because that's always what it has to be. If I can concentrate all of my experiences into like a tangible, consumable, logical sequence of events, then it's fine. Like, if my story is just a story, if what's happened to me is just a song, then it's not as painful, is it? It's just a song. But that's where the silence sets in, that it is real, and I've ran out of control on my politeness. Like, I have to stop trying to make it into something, make it into an essence. That's what we heard about in philosophy class in high school, like the essence and the existence. How if you try to concentrate yourself into an essence, then you're lying to yourself and to everyone else, because you can never just be an essence. That's you're way too nuanced, and that's what I want to be in my music. I want to be like tangible and just easily consumable, but it's more nuanced than that. It's kind of like, and that's what it is. Maybe that's the persona of Impala Vaca, is like a more easily consumable version of myself that's just like more likable, more simple, more fun. Like, everything is so fun when I describe it, like in 5 and stuff. Like, every awful thing that's happened to me can just be so, like, these are my final closing thoughts on the album. Everything that's ever happened to me can be so entertaining and like so poetic if it's a poem, when in reality things can suck majorly. And not everything is like a cool, fun story. Some things just suck, like really bad, and that is way harder to admit than making them into like a cool story. But that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of what I did a little bit, like in my film, which the soundtrack of is released already, is I made it like more of a real story and less, but that's not true at all. That's not true at all. I'm just always like using my trauma and stuff that's happened to me to make something interesting, and sometimes it just leaves me feeling like I'm lying to everyone, and also nothing bad's ever happened to me, but I don't know, I just get so lost. It's like 3 a.m. I need to stop. It's 2:56. I need to lock in. Thank you for listening to this. This album means a lot to me. I'd be lying if I said it didn't. If it wasn't for like my studies, I'd be making tons and tons of music to build on it, but I'm busy, which makes no sense because technically I was busier when I made this album. It's just now I'm on my phone more. But like whatever, you can wait. There's no. Sometimes I'm like, maybe if someone else was like in my situation, they wouldn't make music because there's no point. But it's fun. I just don't know. Like my poetry gets so. I just really overthink stuff often, and maybe that's the issue with putting stuff out there, is that I'm consuming it as a product and as an object, and I'm like objectifying what's happened to me, and then I'm like, it's more nuanced than what it sounds like, but I guess none of it is consequential because no one hears it but me. I don't know. I don't know. I think this album was a big accomplishment. I think when I look back on this album, like, in forever, or I like the fact that I release this. I always think to myself, like, I love releasing things, like, now, because, like, a long time in the future, they will have been released a long time ago. And that is so mystical. Let me put this back to charge. Hold up. And it is so mystical to have an album from 2023, that I made all at 17. Like, that's so beautiful. I was really speaking my truth, and for a 17-year-old, I think it has nuance, it has interesting points. How could you do that to a child? That's quite strong, you know. Yeah. I wish that I had lighter things to talk about. I wish all my music wasn't so sad. I wish I found a better way to feel heard, but I mean, my friends hearing this is pretty cathartic. Although sometimes it's too much, sometimes it's just, especially with the recent stuff, but at the end of the day, it's really just for myself. No one's gonna watch this. Like, leave a comment tomato plant if you watch this far. If you watched this far. I have nothing else to say now. I'm just going on and on. But that's what this whole video is. Okay. Good night. Love you. Bye.